This is it. Quick, lad, up you go.
Nordry, there are too many orcs. We'll never hold them long enough.
Maybe not, but we can try. Well then, come on, you filth! Baruch Kazor!
Katana Menu!
We're friends! We're here to help you!
We must work together to overcome these odds.
It's a mounted crossbow.
And the mounted crossbows!
We'll hold them off! Kazan! Kazan! Keep them away from the weapon! At all costs! To see you all the same.
We might say exactly the same. What are you doing here?
We've come to activate an ancient weapon.
With luck, it'll kill a lot of orcs.
What sort of weapon?
You'll see.
Once activated, it'll take some time to do its work.
Aye, and it's sure to bring a lot more orcs down on us, too.
No time for dilly-dallying. Go ahead and use it.
We'll hold off the orcs.
I did warn you about that.
This is a tall order.
To the crossroads! It's the only way! To the crossbows! It's the only way! Is coming down!
Aye, a good deal of it anyway. Just as we hoped.
You knew this was going to happen?
It's what we came here for.
We had to strike this blow if our people are to survive. I'm heartily sorry for getting all of you killed as well.
I don't think we need to worry about death just yet. Look!
Darren's beard!
Well, this is a day I'll not soon forget. I've seen a few things in my time, but I've not flown on an eagle's back till today. Well, now that it's a bit easier to talk, let me thank you properly for saving our lives and bid you welcome to Nordenbad, our home. Nordri's father, the Lord Gorin, will want to speak with you. Nordri's gone ahead to report on the Gundabad raid and to tell him about everything you did for us.
Why did you lead your warriors against Mount Gundabad?
We keep a careful watch on the orcs in the mountains. When we saw them gathering in large numbers at Gundabad, we had reason to believe they were preparing to move against us here. We didn't like our chances against that many orcs, but we knew about the hidden weapon at Gundabad, so Nordri and I led a small force there to use it against them.
You undertook that mission believing you would not return.
Aye, every dwarf was a volunteer and knew he wouldn't be coming back.
But you said Nordri is Gorin's son. He let his heir undertake such a mission.
He didn't have a choice. After a lifetime of lecturing the lad about his duty to his people, there was no way Gorin could say no when Nordri volunteered, much as he'd have liked to.
What can you tell us of the device you used to collapse the ceiling at Gundabad? I've never heard of such weapons.
It was an ancient defense made by the dwarves who delved Gundabad long ago. Nobody understood the qualities of stone better than the dwarves of old, and they knew that just the right sound can cause solid stone to split. They use that knowledge to build a defense against any enemy who might force their way past the gates of their home.
But Mount Gundabad has been in the hands of the orcs for centuries. How did you know about so ancient a weapon?
Aye, it's been in the hands of the orcs for many a year, but not straight through. I was only a lad when my people fought a great war against the orcs, but my father helped sack Gundabad. He was one of the stoneworkers who found the weapon. It made a big impression on him, and he told me the tale so many times I was sure I could find the thing and use it against the orcs.
But how did you know it would still work after all this time?
We didn't. The whole thing was a gamble. Luckily it paid off.
Am I correct in guessing that you might have a similar defense here?
Some things are best left secret.
Do you think the orcs will follow us here to Nordbad?
Escaping on eagles like we did will throw them off the trail a bit, but it won't be long before they realize it was a group of dwarves that hit them first, and that'll get them thinking about us here. It's not like they're not thinking about Nordbad anyway, but I'll let Goran tell you more about that.
We're grateful for the welcome, but in the rush of battle and our escape, I don't believe we actually caught your name.
Oh, confound me for an old fool. Bruni, son of Bane, at your service and your families. I'm captain of the Nordenbad Guard and a servant of Lord Goran.
At your instruction, the Eagles brought us east for many leagues, over many high mountain peaks. Where are we now exactly?
Aye, it's east you've come. Clean over the Misty Mountains and along the length of the Grey Mountains. You've left the lands of Eriador behind. You're on the northern edge of the land of Rovanion now.
What can you tell me about your lord?
Goran's a great leader. He'd have to be to hold Nordenbad together for so long, surrounded by enemies and starved for basic necessities as we are. There's not a dwarf here who wouldn't lay down his life for him.
We would be pleased to speak with Lord Goran.
Just make your way past the door as you see yonder and you'll find him within. The guards have been instructed to let you pass.
I suspect I'm the first man to see the inside of these halls.
I am certain I'm the first element.
Who would have guessed that such a place still existed in these mountains?
You should not keep the lord of these halls waiting.
Here, sire, those I spoke of. Allow me to present a kinsman, Farron of Erebor, and also Andriel and Eridan, his companions. We succeeded in our task, and I live to tell of it, thanks only to their aid.
You are most welcome here, kinsman, and no less so your companions, be they man, elf, or eagle. Welcome all to Nordenbad, last hall of the Longbeards in the Grey Mountains. You have returned to me, my son and my oldest friend, whom already I mourned as lost. For this, you will forever have my gratitude and the hospitality of these halls. Know that this is not something lightly given, for never before have we allowed any but our own folk to pass these gates. And no eyes have gazed upon the hidden lake of Azanzaram, save those of our close kindred. Yet for what you have done, I will gladly lay aside our ancient oath of secrecy.
You are Longbeards. Then you are of Durin's folk, and close kin to Farron.
Aye. In centuries past, most of our kin called these mountains home. But then the dragons came from the far north. One by one, our halls were lost or abandoned. All but Nordenbad. We alone endured those dark times. And thanks to you, we may hope to endure our current troubles as well.
What can you tell me of your home?
My great-great-grandsire was the first to enter the caves of this mountain, where he discovered the hidden lake we call Azanzaram. He was awed by its beauty, and led some of his kin here. Slowly, over many long years, with loving hands and careful chisels, we created the halls you see before you. Nordenbad was never rich in gold or jewels, but its beauty would move even the most cold-hearted dwarf.
This lake. Did your kin create it?
Nay, my ancestors discovered Azanzaram even as you see it. We have worked with care to enhance what we found. A chip here, a tap there, fashioning bridges, halls, and tunnels. But always, we have taken care to preserve the great gift we were given.
It is beautiful. I am honored to behold it.
May I ask how it was you happened to be in so unlikely a place as Mount Gundabad? One does not go lightly into so foul a pit.
We were seeking a servant of the enemy, a man known as Agandar.
Agandar. We are familiar with that one. Curse his Blackheart.
He appeared before our gates some weeks past, and called us to parley, in the name of Sauron the Great, so he said.
A parley? What did he ask of you?
He demanded that we yield ourselves up to the mercy of Sauron, as if there was any mercy in the Dark Lord.
He lays claim to Nordenbad, telling us if we turn over our halls and riches without a fight, our lives will be spared, and we will be free to seek a new home elsewhere.
Of course, we would have nothing of that. When we defied him, he grew wrathful, threatening us with the fiery doom that overtook our ancestors.
What could he want with Nordenbad? I do not mean to offend, but these halls are very remote. Is it wealth he seeks?
Nay. Nordenbad provides for our needs, but never have we considered it rich, save in beauty.
I fear he may have allied himself with the dragon Orgast, who dwells in these parts. With such a beast at his command, we would have little hope of resisting him.
Perhaps the best course would be to destroy this dragon before Agandar sends him against us.
Huh. Destroy Orgast? If only it were that simple. The attack on Gundabad would be a peaceful stroll around the lake in comparison. Nay, if it were so easy to slay dragons, there would be many more dwarves still dwelling in these mountains.
Urgost has never taken notice of us before. We rather hoped it would stay that way.
They say it does not pay to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near one.
And we cannot allow Agandar to gain such a powerful ally.
Agreed. Where can we find Urgost?
You do not lack for courage, I will grant you. Yet we know not where the dragon dwells. No dwarf has discovered his lair and lived to tell of it.
Perhaps Radagast knows this secret, or can discover it. Seems there is little that happens in Wilderland that escapes his notice.
Who is Radagast?
Radagast the Brown. He is a wizard, a master of birds and beasts. He keeps to himself mostly, but he's a decent enough sort. as long as you mean no harm to the wild creatures he befriends.
He dwells within the forest of Mirkwood, away to the south. Perhaps your companion Belaram would know where to find him, for it is said that Radagast is a friend to the Lord of Eagles himself.
Much as I'd like to avoid Mirkwood, seems like it'd be worth our time to speak to this wizard.
Indeed. But before you set out, please accept a token of our gratitude. Seek out my steward Galar. I have instructed him to open our vaults to you. I believe you may find something within that will be of service in the days ahead. We would be honored if you would accept a token of our gratitude. Find my steward Galar. I have instructed him to present you with some of our finest work. Choose whatever you will, and may it serve you well.
I thank you for your generosity, Lord Gorin.
I still can't believe I'm alive. I thought I would draw my last breath in the fetid air of Mount Gundabad. Mind you, I'm not complaining.
What comes next for your folk?
I'm afraid we're all out of tricks to play. All we can do is prepare our defenses, hunker down and wait for whatever the winds of war might blow our way.
Tell me about Gorin, your father. Is he a king?
King? Oh, no. He is merely the Lord of Nordenbad. We acknowledge Dane Ironfoot as the rightful king of the Longbeards. Not that he has any idea of our existence.
Someday you may be Lord of Nordenbad. Will you seek a reunion with your sundered kin when that day comes?
Secrecy has always preserved us here before, but it can't do so for much longer. We are a dwindling folk, and this war has only made that worse. Nordenbad is precious, but I see little point in leaving it empty. If we survive the days ahead, we will seek out our kin. My father sees the need for this as well. Were it not so, I wouldn't have dared bring you and your friends to our hidden halls.
Tell me about Bruni, the other dwarf who survived Mount Gundabad.
Bruni is the captain of our guard, the terror to the orcs of these mountains. He's been my father's best friend since long before I was born, and he taught me how to wield an axe, and what it means to serve.
It sounds as if you have been in Mirkwood before.
I've been around it a lot more than in it, and that suits me just fine. I don't care for that wood. Don't know how anyone could. But I've often traveled to the eaves of the forest to trade with the Bjornings who live thereabout. It was on such a trading venture that I happened to meet Radagast.
Who are these people, the Bjornings?
A hardy folk, and brave, as any who dwell between Mirkwood and the Misty Mountains would need to be. Under their chieftain, Grimbjorn, they've kept the mountain passes and river crossings open, even in these troubled times. But I've heard rumors of war on their borders of late. The high passes may now be closed, at least to those without the benefit of eagle wings.
Can you tell me more about Radagast?
He's an unusual sort, friend to all beasts and birds. To be honest, I don't think he cares much for dwarves, but maybe he just prefers the company of animals. One thing's certain, there are few people with more knowledge of this part of the world. He even spoke of Nordenbad as if it were common knowledge.
Do you believe we will be a match for Urgost?
It's not that I doubt your courage and skill, and I'd be mighty glad to no longer have a dragon as a neighbor. But truthfully, I wonder if anyone can overcome such a beast. I just hope your luck proves equal to your daring.
Farewell, Nordri.
So you're the Dunedain Ranger, eh? I can't see what all the fuss is about. I suppose you're tougher than you look, though I heard you had a dwarf helping you. Are you here to buy something? I've an excellent stock of the best Nordenbad craftwork, so speak up. Time's a-wasting.
Goran sent me to you. He said I should speak to you to receive a token of his gratitude.
Yes, yes. He may have mentioned it to me. It was rather too generous of him. Not that I don't appreciate what you did, but how does he expect me to increase our wealth by giving our best work away? Well, here you go. Take your pick. Are you here to buy something? Speak up. Time's a-wasting.
Are you always this cheerful?
Well, let's see. We've got an orc army growing, a dragon hungry for dwarf snacks, and one of Sauron's lieutenants making threats. Pardon me while I break out in a song and dance. Now see here, I need to do some business, so how's about you buy something before I get downright grumpy?
Who trades with you in such an isolated place?
We've had a rough time of it here, I won't deny it. Mostly we manage some trade with the Bjornings, the men who live down south of us in the vales of the Anduin. They've good use for our metalwork, and they bring us foodstuffs in return. Otherwise, it'd be mushrooms for breakfast, mushrooms for lunch, and mushrooms for dinner. You wouldn't believe how many ways we've learned to cook mushrooms. That's enough jabbering. If you're not going to buy...
You must be that ranger I've been hearing about. Word of you has spread like a beard on fire. I'm pleased to meet anyone who strikes a blow against the enemy. And I hear you struck a very hard blow indeed. So, how can I help you today?
You've hidden in this isolated cavern for a long time. Could it be that you found something precious, like mithril?
Aye, we've no such wealth as mithril here. Not that I haven't dreamt of finding a vein of true silver. I work iron and a bit of ordinary silver or gold. A few gems here and there. Mostly we hide to escape the notice of the dragons. Bad blood between dwarves and dragons as well, you know. And then there's all the orcs. Ah, but I dream of a day when we could trade for finer goods. I've been working on a silver belt studded with crystal, with a special mount for the gem I crave above all others. The gem that comes from no mine.
Is that burnt hair that I smell?
Well, hard to be a smith without getting a few sparks in your beard. What do you expect when you're working with a hammer and forge and hot metal? They've taken to calling me Burry Burnt Beard. Used to have a beard down to my belt. Well, shorter is safer. As long as you keep a bucket of water handy, there's nothing to worry about.
How great are your skills as a smith?
I'm no braggart, but I'll put my skills up against any smith, dwarf, elf, or man. You may think I don't know much, being set apart from others of my craft. But I'll tell you a little secret. My grandsires go back all the way to the smiths that worked alongside the great elven smith, Celebrimbor himself. In the days of ancient Eregion, there was a great friendship between elves and dwarves. We've passed down skills from forgotten times. I know runes of power and other secrets that give my weapons and armor a hidden strength you'll not find elsewhere. You won't complain about my work.
Tell me of Celebrimbor.
None was a greater craftsman of jewels and forger of metals than Celebrimbor, who was Lord of Eregion. Close friend he was to Narvi, the great stonemaster, and to my grandsires. He even made 7 rings of power for the dwarves. It was Celebrimbor who knew that Sauron had betrayed the elves by making 1 ring. He heard the enemy declare himself master over all. He was killed in the first war against Sauron, and many of his secrets were lost. Narvi and his kin were lost as well.
Only one of my ancestors escaped to carry the tale. So it's been told from grandsire to me.
What lore do you know of Eregion?
The lore passed down from me grandsires is little enough. That Eregion lay west of the Misty Mountains near Moria. That the elves of Eregion were of a kind known as Noldor, and were clever craftsmen. The Noldor didn't know in the beginning that Sauron was evil. Sauron came to Eregion and taught them how to forge rings of power. But after Sauron was revealed, he invaded Eregion and destroyed it. Nearly 5,000 years ago, that was. Doubt there's much left of the place now. But Sauron's fixing to do the same thing all over again. Even here in the far north.
It is clear the folk of Nordenbad take pride in their work.
Mirkwood is a place I prefer to fly over, not into, but we are ready to go.
We must hope Radagast can tell us where to find Urgost. Have you ever faced a dragon before?
No. That is a risk I have gladly avoided. One does not willingly seek out a dragon, unless there is no choice.
You are afraid of dragons?
Only a fool would not fear a dragon. If Urgost has survived this long, he must be full of the guile and cunning of his kind, abominations that they are. And this will make him even more dangerous. But that changes nothing. If we must prevent his alliance with Agandar, then fear must be set aside and the dragon found. We should follow Goren's advice and seek Urgost's whereabouts from Radagast.
Your friends were eager to offer their services. Perhaps they do not fully appreciate the danger. What can you tell me of them?
Armanel is a seasoned warrior. He knows full well what he faces, and accepts it gladly. Baranthor is young, and eager to prove himself. But he has deep courage, and few can match his swiftness on the wing. But you need not take my word. Ask them yourself. They will gladly speak with you if you so desire.
I worry about my people. We Dunedain are so few now, and our families are scattered across the north. Perhaps I should go to their defense.
And yet, what could you do for them? One man alone. Were there 100 Eridans, you could not withstand the power that is set against you. But together, we may strike a blow far greater than any army could achieve. You Rangers are hardy folk. Trust them to survive, as they have for so long. While we do what must be done to bring down Agandawa. Only then will your homes and our areas be safe.
All right, Belleroth. We cannot falter now. We will go on.
You have but to say the word, and we will press on.
Radagast is a good friend of yours?
The Brown Wizard has been a close friend of the Eagles since he first came to Middle-earth and settled into the forest that is now called Mirkwood, even before it came to have that dark name. That was long before I was born, but I have visited with him many times in his home at Rosgobel when I would bring him news from afar. But I have not seen him since he abandoned Rosgobel.
Why would he abandon his home?
He was gone from his home before I could ask. But there has been a growing threat and darkness in the south of Mirkwood. I believe Rosgobel is no longer safe, even for a wizard. But fear not. I know Radagast's favored places in the north of Mirkwood. We will find him, or I will bring you to a place you are likely to find him at the very least.
We must travel to Mirkwood.
We will be ready.
It's good to see you. What news do you bring?
We're in search of a dragon called Urgost. Do you know anything about him?
A dragon? What madness drives you to the lair of such a deadly creature?
Agandawa seeks an alliance with him. We must make sure that never happens.
How the three of you could hope to kill a dragon is beyond me. I know of only one person who bandied words with a dragon and lived to tell of it, and that would be Bilbo. I reckon he's the one to be giving you advice. My advice would be to stay well away.
We found more of Durin's folk dwelling in the Grey Mountains. They are few in number, but very valiant.
What? Long-lost kin in the Grey Mountains? How can that be? How did they escape the scourge of the dragons when all others were destroyed or fled?
They have a hidden refuge called Nordenbad.
By my beard, when all this trouble is finished, you must show me the way there. I would meet these distant kinsmen and welcome them to trade with Erebor.
From what I have seen, I'm certain they would welcome the opportunity to become reacquainted with their kin. But there's still much to do before that day comes. Farewell, Glowin.
Welcome, my friend. You are to be congratulated on what you accomplished at Mount Gundabad. Thanks to you and the warriors of Nordenbad, there are now fewer orcs to menace the north. From what you have told me, it is apparent the folk of Nordenbad are both courageous and resourceful. They are welcome allies in our struggle against Agendaur.
They believe Agendaur may be trying to gain the aid of a dragon called Urgost.
A dragon? That is ill news. Such a weapon would give Agendaur an overwhelming advantage.
We are already resolved to eliminate the threat of Urgost, but we have no idea where he dwells. Our new friend Nordri suggested we consult with the wizard Radagast.
Your courage is commendable, but I do not believe you fully comprehend the danger. This dragon may prove a foe too great for even you and all your companions to overcome.
That may well be. But we believe it is better to seek him out now, rather than waiting for him to strike first. We might at least gain the element of surprise.
There is truth in what you say. We should do all we can to deny Agendaur this living weapon.
Could Agendaur be a threat to the Ringbearer and his mission?
Perhaps. But the Company of the Ring is bound southward, away from the regions where we believe Agendaur to be. We can hope that he has no thought for the Ring. Indeed, I doubt he even knows of it.
Why would Agendaur not know of the ring? He is an important servant of the Dark Lord.
Do not forget, for all his power, Agendaur is a mortal man. As bound as he is to the Dark Lord, he is not a slave to his will, as are the Ringwraiths. Were Agendaur to discover the ring, he would certainly be tempted to claim it as his own. I doubt Sauron would take such a risk.
Do you have any idea where Urgost may be found?
Sadly, I do not. I have long feared there were still dragons lurking in the Grey Mountains, but I have no knowledge of this creature Urgost. Radagast may indeed be our best hope of locating him. The Brown Wizard is adept at gathering information.
Then we must travel to Mirkwood.
Which means your quest will be fraught with peril long before you locate the dragon, for Mirkwood is a dark and dangerous place.
But what of Frodo and his quest? Is there nothing more we can do to assist him?
That die is cast. We must abide the consequences, for good or ill. There is nothing more we here can do but to look to our own defense.
What can you tell me of Mirkwood?
Mirkwood lies east over the Misty Mountains. It is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth, and it was known as Greenwood the Great in fairer days. But the shadow of Sauron has fallen over the forest, and with each passing year it grows darker and more perilous. It is the haunt of orcs and spiders, and other creatures darker still. Any who venture there will need to keep their wits and their weapons about them.
We won't let that prevent us from finding Radagast.
My mind is still uneasy about this plan, but it is said that fortune often favors the bold. Who may say what will befall. Know that the blessings of all the folk of Imladris will go with you.
Hello again. What can I help you with?
I should be going.
Seeking the wizard. No one can help him, and no one can help you. Well done, my friends. That one will spread his veil of lies no more. Yet I fear this was no chance meeting. If Wulfrun was here, it could mean trouble for Radagast. You should press on and find him.
What is this creature you've bested? It smells foul.
Who can say? Some beast from an older world, maybe. Bred and twisted by the Dark Lord to serve his most trusted servants.
The sorcerer said something about a wizard.
He can only have meant Radagast.
But what could Agendaur want with Radagast?
The Brown Wizard concerns himself little with the outside world, yet he has worked against Sauron in the past. Perhaps Agendaur merely wishes to settle an old score, but it seems more likely he seeks to prevent Radagast from aiding his enemies. We should find him.
I don't like this. Agendaur may be one step ahead of us.
If so, Radagast may be in grave danger.
How far are we from the wizard's dwelling?
It is difficult to say for certain. Even the eyes of an eagle cannot pierce the interwoven boughs of Mirkwood, and clearings are few in this wood.
This forest seems near impenetrable. What can we expect to find here?
I cannot say for certain. Mirkwood is no place for my kind. We can soar over the great wood, but its secrets remain hidden beneath the trees. The forest has an evil reputation, however. Be on your guard as you search for Radagast.
I have been told elves dwell in Mirkwood. Perhaps they can assist us.
It is true, King Thranduil's people dwell in the forest, but many dark miles lie between here and the Elven King's halls. One might wander for weeks in this part of Mirkwood without encountering an elf.
What of my kind? Are there not men who live within the wood?
You speak of the Bjornings. Yes, there are hearty men who dwell on the western edge of Mirkwood, but they are rarely found this far north, and they are wary of strangers, as any who dare to dwell in this wood should be.
How far are we from the wizard's dwelling?
It is difficult to say for certain. Even the eyes of an eagle cannot pierce the interwoven boughs of Mirkwood, and clearings are few in this wood.
We will continue the search on foot. Should we look for you here once we have found him?
No, I must find my companions. They are probably worried about me. Together, we will keep watch from above. Radagast has many friends among the birds of Mirkwood. If you find him, he can send a message to us easily enough.
Very well, but be careful. There may be more of these fell beasts around.
I don't like the look of this Mirkwood. I wish our path would have led us elsewhere.
Why would Radagast choose to make his home in such a place?
They say that Mirkwood was not always like this. It was fair enough before the shadow of the Dark Lord fell over it.
That shadow lies here still. There are evil creatures in this wood. Be on your guard.